You're listening to the Behind the Booth podcast with DJ iSizzle, where music, weddings, and unforgettable stories come to life. And now your host, DJ iSizzle.
Welcome to Behind the Booth with me, DJ iSizzle. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we have some fun stuff. We're going to talk about music, weddings, and unforgettable moments that come to life. I'm your host, DJ iSizzle, and today, before we dive into the music and events, let's have a little fun. So I wanted to do something real quick where you can get to know me outside of the booth. We'll make it really fun. It'll be 5 questions, rapid fire. So let's get it going.
5 questions for DJ iSizzle.
If you could eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Mexican food. I absolutely love tacos. One of my biggest weaknesses, I could eat tacos all day and night. What's your favorite color? I'm going to say blue. Blue is one of my favorite colors. A second to brown. I like brown as well. What's my favorite movie or TV show? Oh gosh. I really like the new Superman. That was really good. What's your favorite season of the year? I used to love summer, but now I'm becoming more of a fall guy. I love the leaves, the changing, the season gets a little cooler outside, gets a little darker a little sooner. It's a fun season. What's my favorite dessert? Cheesecake. I absolutely love cheesecake. All right, so that was 5 questions. Let's get into segment number 1. This one's called Wedding Reality Check.
Wedding reality check. What do you recommend, DJ iSizzle?
So let's start with this question, right? What kind of wedding experience do you want? So picture this, right? It's your wedding. You just decide you want to go with just a playlist on a speaker. You say songs might start and stop. You're okay with that. The volume's off. Commercials come on. They say this may cause certain side effects. That kind of stuff. And the energy, it's kind of, it's hard to get anyone on the dance floor. No one wants to dance. Everybody's thinking about the side effects of a medicine that they might take. So it kind of takes people's mind away from the overall vibe of love and togetherness and bringing two families together. So if you hire a professional DJ, you're going to have everything pre-planned. You're going to have everything set out before you even get to the venue. So that's the nice thing about hiring a professional DJ. They're going to keep the energy right. They're going to go over everything. Like I always send out a music outline, something that goes over everything from pre-ceremony to ceremony music to your grand entrance song, cocktail hour, first dances, do not plays, dinner music, must plays, are guest requests okay? Yes, no. If they're not, then is it okay if I take a request from the family member or a bridesmaid? If that's not okay, if guest requests are okay and you have a do not play of, say, the YMCA, and if a guest requested, is that okay to play it? So a really good wedding DJ will go over every little detail with you. So minute, like how long do you want your first dance? Do you want a full minute and a half or do you want a full 5 minutes? What kind of vibe are you thinking? Are you going to do cake cutting? Are you going to do a bouquet toss? Are you doing garter toss? Yes or no? What kind of song do you want from that? There's so many little details, and a really good professional DJ will take the time to really make sure that every detail is taken care of for your wedding. So I would recommend spend a little extra money, get yourself a DJ for your wedding. It's one of the best things you can do. Your guests will thank you. And just overall, you'll have a better flow of an event. So that would be my recommendation. Make it a good unforgettable, not a bad unforgettable. All right. Segment number 2. Let's move on now. Dance Floor Diary.
Dance Floor Diaries. Tell us more, DJ iSizzle.
Okay. So this is a great one. So one of my most memorable moments happened. It was so unexpected, right? So the bride and groom were cutting the cake. They got their cake. They were cutting it up, and they had somebody else cut all the cake, put it on, plates, hand it out to the guests. The guests were enjoying it. The groom's 7-year-old daughter comes up and says, "Hey, put on Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus. No one's dancing." And I'm looking around. I'm like, well, it's still cake cutting. So, she's like, "Hey, can I use the microphone?" I'm like, well, do you want to say no to this 7-year-old daughter of the groom? I don't think you do. So I gave her the microphone. I said, "Yeah, take it all away." She said, "All right, play the song, DJ iSizzle." I said, "Okay." Song comes on. and I turn it up a little bit, and everybody kind of looks over at me, and then they look at her, and she's like, "Come on, everybody, it's time to get on the dance floor. Get up here, start dancing." And at first, everybody was like, "Is this a joke? What's going on here?" And then after she like kept going for like probably another 10, 15 seconds of like, "Don't be shy, get out here on the dance floor. This is my dad's wedding. You better get out here and party with us." And so after a few of those, like everybody actually got on the dance floor. So what, and then she just kept hyping them. Like she was just like, "Come on, everybody." Like Miley says, "Put your hands in the air, put your hands in the air." And I was just like, this was unbelievable. I was like, this 7-year-old daughter is giving me a run for my money right now. This is absolutely unbelievable. So seeing her energy and excitement for her dad was like a really special moment. And you have to do that as a wedding DJ. You have to open up those moments where it's unpredictable, but yet a result that is so like memorable and magical happens. So I'm always open to those moments, and it was really one of those moments that was just I don't know, it was well, I want to say it was unforgettable. So yeah, really special stuff. All right. With that down, let's go ahead and move into segment number 3. So this is a what I call your wedding energy hack.
Your wedding energy hack. Tell us more, DJ iSizzle.
So this is a tip that I've learned throughout the years of sometimes guests are a little bit shy to get out on a dance floor like right away. So I don't like to pressure guests when it comes to like, this is the big opening dance, everybody out on the dance floor. Cause every crowd is different. Some crowds like they'll gladly rush out on a dance floor and dance to anything you play. But if your crowd's a little more shy and they're more like a little more reserved, you want to like say, hey, have some cake, go ahead, get some sugar in your system, maybe have another drink, loosen up a little bit, enjoy yourself. And then once that happens, you can kind of like amp up the music a little more. But I don't ever just like drop a big song and be like, everybody out on the dance floor, let's go. Like, it's cool, you could, but sometimes couples, they don't want that, and they just want their guests to enjoy their cake, enjoy their drinks. And when they're ready, they'll get out there and start dancing. So some things that I've learned is when the couple has a big group photo with all the guests and they bring them out to the dance floor. Recently we did one where I played the Cupid Shuffle. I invited everybody on the dance floor. I said, the photographer's here. He's going to be gone in about 10 minutes. Let's get everybody out on the dance floor. Let's get a big group photo of everybody doing the Cupid Shuffle. And then after we did the Cupid Shuffle, the photographer came up to me and said, hey, tell everybody to stop. Tell them to get a big group shot. We'll get everybody out here, the bride and groom. We'll get them up in the front of the center of the photo. And we had about 85 people on the dance floor. And I was leading them with the microphone. I was like, all right, guys, a little bit closer. And then the photographer would be like, tell them get even a little more closer. And I'd be like, all right, a little bit more closer. We got this. We got this. And then we took the first photo, and I was like, is that good? He's like, let's take a couple more. And I was like, all right. I said, all right, we got 3 more photos, guys. Let's go. We're going to go 3 more times because we want to get this right. So, and then after that, you put on a great song and you keep the dance floor going. That's one thing I've learned, is if you can pull everybody on the dance floor for at least one dance, because a lot of times some of your guests, they just don't understand dancing. They don't want to dance. They haven't danced in 30, 40 years. Another thing that I've learned that works really well, if you have a lot of couples in your wedding, then you should bring everybody out for whether it be a generational dance, or you could even do like a first dance of the night. We're going to dedicate this to all the couples. Let's go ahead and have all the couples come out. Everybody who's married, not married, that's been together for many years. Let's just bring all the couples out. Hey, if you're not a couple, this is your chance to maybe become a couple. Bring everybody out. And it really sets a nice tone. And then after that, you can kind of shift into a little bit of faster music. But sometimes the older folks, they're just there to do a slow dance with their woman, and they're happy with that, or they want to do a slow dance with their man and they're happy with that too. So you don't want to try to please everybody as a DJ, but at the same time, there are ways to bring everybody together, give everybody a moment on the dance floor. So I'm always open to those ideas of starting with a slow dance. Sometimes is better than trying to get everybody out there with a fast dance. So there are ways to do things. And these are just a few things that I've learned over the years. All right. Oh, segment number 4. This is one of my favorite segments. This one's called Request Roulette.
Request roulette. Do you take requests, DJ iSizzle?
That's the big question of, do you take requests, DJ? And the answer to that question is absolutely, if it's okay with the bride and groom. So that's one of the biggest things. When it comes to weddings, man, I don't want to play anything the bride and groom don't want to hear. They're hiring me to make their night perfect, and they want me to add the energy that they want from the night. And honestly, they're going to know their friends and family, what their favorite songs are over the years. They might have a deep cut song that I've never heard of. I had somebody request, I think it was Chunky by Bruno Mars. I kind of knew that song, but not really. They're like, it's an inside joke with our family. Can you play it? There must have been at least 40 people that just ran to the dance floor. Now, if I would play that at another time, I maybe wouldn't get anybody to come out on the dance floor. But because it has a special meaning to somebody within a family, or it's like an inside joke that only they get, I'm always down to play those kind of requests. So one example, a couple of years ago, Barbie World by Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj had just come out from the Barbie movie, and it was kind of getting requests within like the younger crowd. And I'd play a little bit of it. They'd be like, "Oh, play this song, play Barbie World, play the new one," and I play it, and it just isn't doing very well. I'll hit the pause button, and I have it set up where it sounds like a record, where it's like, and then I'll make an announcement. I'll say, "Hey guys, you know what? This new stuff is cool, but let's go back to the old school." And then you just drop in the part where it's, "Come on, Barbie, let's go party." And then everybody just would go crazy. But then what happens is Barbie movie is a trend, and trends kind of die. They come and go. So you can use it for the trend time. But that's an interesting way to handle requests too, if you're not sure if a song will work. If a song is not working that's a request, just hit the pause button and play something even better that you know works. So that's one of my recommendations with how to handle the request roulette. All right. Now that that's down, let's move on to this segment number 5. We're going to call this the track of the episode.
Track of the episode. Play us a banger, DJ iSizzle.
So there is a lot of tracks out there from the 2000s that are absolutely phenomenal. This is one track that I think got overplayed 10 years ago and is starting to make a little bit of a comeback the last few years again. So there's that story that I just told you about playing a song, pausing the song, letting it go, kind of die out, and then play another song. So I would open with the song Closer by the Chainsmokers and Halsey, and I'd say, "This is the final song, guys. Let's get everybody out on the dance floor. Let's give it one more big, like, hoorah for the bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs." I'm paraphrasing, of course, but I would do this, and then I would start playing Closer and be like, "Tell your friends it was nice to see him, but we don't." And people would be like, "Oh, this is how you're gonna end? It's so low energy, and we just want to like get hype and wish the bride and groom well." So a little bit through, it'd just be like, I'd go hit the pause button and I go, "Oh man, guys, I am so sorry. I apologize. Let's play something with some good energy." And then you put on Mr. Brightside and that little intro, the little doo-doo-doo. Oh man, it's so good. And then I used it probably like out of the 5 times I used it, it went off 5 times. It was just really fun. And everybody that loves that song and will jump up and down, sing it at the top of their lungs. I had one groom, he wrote me about 2 weeks after his wedding and said, "Man, I apologize. I lost my voice that night." He said, "I've been meaning to write you a review, and here's my review for you." But he just kind of mentioned in the email, he was like, "Man, we had so much fun, and thank you for playing that as the last song. That's one of our favorite songs." And so sometimes playing a bad song or uh, a song that isn't really working, just kind of pause it and then just say, "Hey, let's play something that's even like everybody loves." So that's a good way to get yourself out of a situation if a track isn't working as well. But that's my track of the week. It's called Mr. Brightside by the Killers, and I absolutely love this song. It's a great closer. I used it 2 weddings ago for a closer. They didn't actually have a particular closing song. They didn't really care. They just figured all their guests would eventually just kind of file out. But everybody stayed till the end, and I said, "All right, let's do it one last time." everybody out on the dance floor, let's just give a big round of applause, make as much noise as we can, and you drop that song. But make sure it's up loud, hits just right. Everybody hears and like, oh yes, I love this song. And it's such a great song. Last song of the night. You can play it a little earlier if you want. It kind of just depends on what the bride and groom wants, but that's just something to think about. It's a great song. That is my track of the episode, Mr. Brightside by the Killers. All right. Now that that's down, let's move on to segment number 6, shall we? This one's called Spotlight Shoutout.
Spotlight Shoutout. Who is the best in the Northwest DJ iSizzle?
I want to give a special shout out to Columbia River Ranch Retreats. This is another one of my favorite venues to DJ. The owners, I don't know if they're both owners, but I should call them the Beths. They're very cool over there, super nice. One of the groom, his name was Ben. His dad was doing the social media when I DJ'd his son's wedding, and he came up to me and he was like, "Hey man, thank you for following us." And I was like, "It's absolutely my pleasure." I had DJ'd prom out there, and I believe it was end of May or around May of 2024. And then I got a email from a bride that was getting married out there, and she said we could hear we were attending, the prom. We were just kind of being outside. We are just kind of observing, because one of my future father-in-law, his is my dad's, or excuse me, future father. I try to get this stuff right, but future father-in-law is my soon-to-be groom's dad, and he helps manage the social media out there, and he invited us out to come hang out and whatever. And we checked out your show. We absolutely loved it. This is a vibe we wanted for our wedding. And would you come back out? We have our wedding in August. Could you come out? And I'm like, sure. And that was a super fun wedding as well. That was a great night. It was an hour of just nonstop. Like everybody was hype. I remember their guests would come up to me and kind of like, they'd shake my hand. They'd be like, "You're DJ iSizzle." They're like, kind of have a little like gleam in their eye. Like, it's going to be a party tonight, huh? Like, and it was just like, I was so excited. I was like, oh, that's so great. I can't wait. So let's get this party started when we can. So that was a great wedding. And then I was recently invited back out there in March, for Lily and Logan's wedding, and that was an absolute honor to be out there. They had actually just redone part of the ranch, and it is absolutely beautiful. You can check out some of my videos on social media. I have some on Instagram, Facebook, just kind of highlighting the reel of like going through the venue and then just showing you highlights, um, of the venue. The new venue that they just built is absolutely beautiful too. They had me up top. I'm looking down. I got some new lighting. It's really cool. Check out some clips. They're in reels. I think I got some shorts on YouTube as well. Columbia River Ranch Retreats. Highly recommend it. They're off the Columbia River. The first time we went out there, I think it's like a 2.5-hour drive from Seattle. I know it's closer than in Portland, but if you're a bride or a groom looking for a place that's in between like Washington and Oregon, I would highly recommend the place. If you have a lot of guests from Oregon, you have a lot of guests from Washington, it's a cool little meeting point, and you can turn the music up out there. You can party. They don't really care. I know they have Airbnb out there as well, so I think your guests could stay out there if you don't want them to drive home or whatnot. So highly recommend it. They're very nice, very hospitable out there as well. And all the brides and grooms that I've talked to about the place that they've gotten married at, they love the place. So nothing but good things to say about Columbia River Ranch Retreats. Yeah. So that being said, thank you for watching and stepping behind the booth with me, DJ Sizzle. I mean, this was episode 2. We're going to call this one Wedding Magic and Little DJs. I hope you get to know me a little bit better through each podcast. We're going to have some guests on in the future. Right now, we're still getting the place set up. I'm still figuring out the lighting, still figuring out the episodes, like what works and what doesn't. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. Leave some comments. Say, hey, Sizzle, would you talk about this? What about this kind of experience? What kind of these events have you ever done? Just let me know any questions you got. Please leave me comments. I'm always active on social media. Yeah, I guess so. And let's do the catchphrase. Until next time, keep the music loud, the energy high, and the dance floor alive. This is DJ iSizzle, and I just want to tell you, please keep it sizzling. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Behind the Booth podcast hosted by DJ iSizzle. Remember to keep the music loud, the energy high, and your memories unforgettable. See you next time.